Hi folks, this is the video segment for solution to homework assignment number homework number 7. Okay, now let's start with this set of problems from 3 to 14. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And you are given angles in degrees and you're asked to convert this thing to radian. Now, keep in mind that on the quizzes or on the test, if I gave you a question like that, I expect you to show me how you got your answer. Even though you may be able to do that with your calculator, that's fine. You can always check your answer that you're going to put on the paper with your calculator, but you have to show me what you have done. For example, if you look at number 3, from number 3, it says 72 degrees, and we want to convert this thing to radians. So what we do is we take this number and multiply it by pi and divide it by 180. Okay? So whatever you get is going to be the answer, and it's going to be in radians. And let me do that with my calculator. There we are. So 72 times pi. Now, if you want for pi, you can put down 3.1415, but there's also pi available in your calculator as a button here, which I believe it is, it's right there. This guy, you see this over here, right there. So this is the second function. You press the second, and then this guy, and then divide it by 180. And the answer becomes 1.25. So on your quiz paper or test paper, you have to write down this number. Now, if I say, for example, round it up to the third significant figure, so it's going to be 1.267. So this is going to be 1.267. Now, you don't have to write radians here, but if you don't write it, it means that by default, universally is accepted as radians, but you don't have to write it. Okay, let's do the next one. Number 54. Once again, 54 times pi over 180. Put that in your calculator. So we have 54 divided by, again, multiplied by 54 multiplied by pi, second function, that fellow, divided by 180. It return 0.9427, 0.9424, and if you are asked to round it into third significant figure, third digit, so it's going to be 0.943. 0.943 rounded. Okay, now I'm not going to write the answers to these as on this Word document, so I'm going to go on calculator and do it directly. Now remember, if you have a minus, then of course you have to take that into consideration. So let's go back here. Let's go there. The next problem is going to be number 5, which is negative. Now, if you want to put negative here, make sure that you put the negative down there, not the minus sign. This negative means that negative of a number, and you have 45 multiplied by pi, second function. Oops, wrong one. Backspace. Try it again. Minus this guy, 45 times pi, I think pi was right here, divided by 180. And this is your answer. So it's going to be negative 0.785 radians. okay, assuming that I'm rounding it off to third digit. Okay, so the next one is number 6, negative. Incidentally, this number that I wrote up here, this number that I have up here, is negative of pi over 4. Just remember that. These are standard angles, you have to know it by heart. 45 degrees is pi over 4, so negative 45 is negative pi over 4. So 60 degrees, which is the next one, is going to be negative pi over 3. However, if you're asked to write it approximate value around the third digit, then you have to obviously work it out. So minus 60 times pi, second function, divided by 180. And this is the approximate value, minus 1.047. Or if you're asked for exact value, you have to write minus pi over 3. Okay? If it says for exact value, it has to be minus pi over 3. You write down on your paper minus pi over 3. If it says approximate value, third digits, for example, minus 1.047 will do the job. Number 7 is negative. There's the negative 75 times pi divided by 180, and that's going to be minus 1.30 if you're asked to round it off to a third digit, so it's going to be minus 1.309. Okay, last one, 300, negative 300 times pi. There may be a short what is it called, a function key for pi, but I don't know what it is. So just go second function here, and just, oops, that's the wrong one. Negative 300 times pi, second function, that one, right? Yeah, divided by 180. Oh, oh gee. Minus, this one is jinx, 300 times second function pi divided by 180. So it's going to be minus 5.3, minus 5.236 if you're asked to round it off to 3 digits. Okay, so now let's go and do the second class of problem. This is the opposite. In other words, things are given to you in radians, and you're asked to convert it to degrees. Now, obviously, this is going to be approximate value. Sometimes you can write the exact value, but if the number is not one of those standard ones, you have to round it off. For example, if you look at number 15, you're given 7 pi over 6 radians. Now, we know what pi over 6 is. It's 30 degrees. 7 times 30, which is 210 degrees. Okay? Make sure you don't forget this guy, because otherwise it's going to be wrong. Degrees. Or write 210 degrees. But I don't know why you would do this. It's easier to do it like that. So if you're asked for exact value, this is what I wrote down. If you're asked for approximate value, you can do it with your calculator, but of course it's going to spit out that. Well, actually, let's find out. So let's go ahead and do this thing with our calculator. So it's going to be, let me clear all this. Okay, so it's going to be 7 times pi, second function, pi, divided by 60, divided by 6. Notice that, I'm sorry, this was, what was that? It was 70 degrees. Okay. Let me see, I forgot what the problem was here. 7 pi over 6, you want to convert it into degrees. So Right. So this is fine, except that uh, right. So let me go ahead and let me say it a different way here. For conversion, there's nothing wrong with what we did, except that we knew what pi over 6 was. That's why I wrote 30 degrees here, and you got 210. But in general, if something is given to you in radians, to get it in degrees, what you do is you multiply it by 180 over pi. Okay, 180 over pi. So this pi cancels that, and this thing cancels this, and you get 210 degrees, just like before. So the multiplication factor from radians to degrees is 180 divided by pi. Okay. Now, if you wanted to do this thing with our calculator, I mean, let's go ahead and do this. Our angle was right here, 7 pi over 6. So let me multiply this thing by 80. This last answer, multiply the answer. This is the answer by 180 divided by pi. I will get either exact 210 because I'm lucky. This is a round number, or something very close to it. So what is that? Divided by pi. Second function, and there is pi, and return. See, we're just lucky because this number is the way we're doing it is going to come out. Okay, fine. That's fine. Let's go ahead and do this next one. I want to emphasize again on the quiz. If I give you a problem like that, you have to tell me on the paper what you did to get that answer. For example, if you look at number 16, it says 11 pi over 3. Now, you may recognize that pi over 3 as 60 degrees, which is fine. 11 times 60 degrees, and this is 660 degrees. Now, I have no problem if you wrote this. In other words, you mark this down as 60, and 11 times 60 is 660. But you also could have done it like this. 11 pi over 3, you multiply it by 180, and you divide it by pi. Needless to say that this pi cancels that. This to that is going to go 60, and you get 660 degrees. The same thing. And you can do that on your calculator too, but I'm not going to type these things in. Maybe I do. Maybe I do one later on, but not this particular problem. What else we have? We have number 17. Number 17. It says minus 5 pi over 4. Okay. Now, if you were asked to do the exact value, you recognize this thing as 45 degrees minus 5 times 45 degrees. And needless to say, this is 200 minus 225 degrees. Okay. Or you could have thought about this as negative 5 pi over 4 multiplied by 180 divided by pi. Notice that this cancels that. This to this is 45, and this is minus 225 degrees. Okay. Number 18. Number 18. It is minus 3 pi over 2. On your quiz paper, you write this thing as 90. So minus 3 times 90 degrees. And this is minus 270 degrees. Okay. Let's do the next one. This is the one that you're going to have to do it with your calculator. Number 19, it says 3. Now, I don't know what this thing is in it's not one of those standard angles. So what you do is you say, okay, 3 times 180 divided by pi. Now, to get this thing, this is going to be in degrees. Now, to get this, Of course, you're going to have to use your calculator. 3 times 180 divided by pi. What is this? Okay, 3 times 180 divided by pi, and you're going to get 171 degrees, or 171.88 degrees. If you were asked to round this off into the third digit, it'll be 171.887 degrees. So the answer to this is going to be 177 point, can't remember, was it 77? 171, sorry. 171.88, I think that was 3. 887. If you're rounding it up to third digit, this is going to be 8. This is also going to be 8. And don't forget the degree sign up there, either there, or it's okay if you wrote it here, or if you okay if you just wrote it down. Let's do minus 2. This is number 20, which is minus 2. So it's going to be minus 2 multiplied by 180 divided by pi. And this is going to be, well, we put in your calculator. The minus, of course, I don't have to worry about it, but okay, when worry about it means I can add it later on. But here's the minus. 2 times 180 divided by pi. Is the pi? Yes. Oh, let's get rid of this. Minus 2, it was 2, times 180 divided by second function pi, and it's going to be minus 114.591. Minus 114.591. Assuming it was rounded to the third digits. Yeah, good. All right, so I'm going to stop this video segment. I will do then the other problems in a different way.